You're literally going to be able to shapeshift after this. You're gonna have more confident purchases, less returns, and dare I say even excited to go shopping. The items that you have in your closet, you might start seeing them in a new light because now you know how they're working for you. And we're gonna make our clothes work for us because it takes money to buy them. So we might as well have them working for us. Trigger warning, I am going to be careful about the words that I use. I am going to be talking about some of the insecurities that I have with my own body and the types of clothing styles that I look for to minimize those things. In a perfect world, everyone would love every single thing about them, but that's just not the reality, and that's okay. I think it's actually healthy if you make a few changes here and there that you know will help you feel more at ease, more confident, more comfortable, instead of gaslighting yourself into liking things that you might not actually like, or trying to squeeze into certain sizes just so you can say that you're that size, feel miserable the entire time, and you would have looked better if you just got your actual size. The longer you can keep the chemicals just balanced in your brain and things like stress hormones down, the healthier you'll overall be. And I have somehow managed to relate fashion to medicine, so disclaimer, this is for entertainment purposes only. I don't know anything about health. On the flip side, you might have features that you really like about yourself and you want to learn how to show them off or accentuate them. We're also going to be talking about that. I think I'm going to work with the tops and like just work my way down to bottoms and shoes. No icebreaker here. I'm so insecure about my arms. I feel like they're just so big and not proportionate to the rest of my body, and I usually just like them covered. 99% of the time you're probably gonna see me with like a full sleeve. A lot of the tops that are my size fit everywhere perfectly, but they'll be super tight around my upper arms. Looking back at some photos and videos, I noticed that there's one particular thing that I would wear all the time and I feel like I look so bad. I don't know if you guys remember, but bodysuits and just really fitted sculpting items were really in. Every brand was trying to recreate their own version of Skims, and it was just so easy to grab one of those pieces as your top and then pair it with like trousers or jeans or whatever. It worked for everything. During the colder seasons, like in the fall, winter, we started to see a lot of fitted tops with mock necks or turtlenecks. I was like, perfect. I've got my basics for the fall now. And now looking back at it, I look like I feel suffocated. I used to wear these so much, but I feel like I look so just flat and constricted in this area, and my shoulders just look really round and slumpy. Does not suit my body shape at all. So far in this 2023 to 2024 cold season, I've been avoiding all turtlenecks and mock necks, honestly. Anytime I feel like my neck is going to be cold that day, I just opt for a scarf. I've been wearing v-necks, crew necks, square necks, basically anything that doesn't go above my collarbones. Just from removing this part of my shirt, like the turtleneck or the mock neck, it gave me so much more flexibility, and even the arm areas of those fitted shirts started fitting way better. However, mock necks and turtlenecks come in handy if you're somebody that wants to make their chest appear bigger. It's funny because they're probably like the most modest type of top you can think of, but it actually does accentuate your chest area, and for me, I feel like that wasn't really helping with my round shoulders. So yeah, if you're somebody looking for a little bit more volume in the chest area, definitely try out mock necks and turtlenecks because they definitely draw more attention to that area. I also stay away from tops that have really droopy sleeves. Drop shoulders are also not the best, but they're a big part of streetwear. I think like half of the time I'm dressed in some sort of streetwear, and then half of the time I'm like dressed as the most preppiest person ever. There's no in between. So definitely for those chill, laid back, casual looks that goes with the I don't care vibe, that's probably when I would opt for one of those baggy drop shoulder type of shirts. But when it's incorporated into something that's intended to be dressy, I feel like you just end up looking a little frumpy. I personally just end up looking frumpy because I don't have really defined shoulder structure. Now, somebody like Lisa from Blackpink has the most structured shoulders I think I've ever seen. She looks amazing all the time. She could literally wear a bed sheet over her shoulders and you could see the crazy amount of structure underneath. That's why she can get away with wearing baggy tops and still look super structured, and you can see her very well defined. For me to mimic the kind of shoulders somebody like Lisa already has, I love anything with a shoulder that just kind of sticks out a little bit. I used to hate shoulder pads, now I love those. And we're gonna move down to the pants later, but I do want to throw in that I have super wide hips. They're the widest point of my entire body. So having that shoulder that does stick out a bit, that is a little bit more structured, helps balance out the wideness of my hips and creates a more even proportion. Also, I feel like such a baddie when I have my shoulders just like, angled. They're just ready for business all the time. Another bonus of the structured shoulder look is that they do give the illusion of a smaller waist. So wide up here now that your waist is going to look so much smaller in comparison. If you're looking for ways to define your waist a little bit more, try tops with structured shoulders. Stay away from the droopy drop shoulder type of tops. I used to think there was only 4 body types, like there was an apple, pear, rectangle, and what's the other one? Hourglass. There's so many. Of course, how could the human race fit into 4 different body types? It's impossible. One type of body type that's actually really cool to look at are Kibbe body types. I fall somewhere in the romantic body type area. One of the things that's really highlighted for that body type is to wear things that accentuate your waist, because that's usually the smallest part of your body. If you guys want an in-depth video of those, let me know, because I've been studying them for like a year now. Things like jackets and coats and just like outerwear is usually an investment because they are pricier. They're supposed to be more durable. So I would recommend that when you buy these pieces, because you're probably going to be dropping a bit of money on them, is make sure that there are cuts that are going to be flattering on you. That way you're always going to have a piece that you can quickly throw on, even if you didn't put any thought into the outfit that you're wearing underneath. Every single outfit that way can be flattering to your body type. Oh my goodness, I feel like I have so many things to say about tops, because I also stay away from anything that's a half sleeve, like it cuts off in the middle of my upper arm, because that is the widest part of my arm, and I feel like anything that cuts off right there is just really gonna accentuate that, which I don't want to do. I feel like I'm talking about all these insecurities and maybe I'm coming off as a really not confident person. I'm fine. This isn't like my Roman Empire or anything. I don't know why these are called half sleeves, because they're not really half sleeves. This is a half sleeve. Like, that comes down to your elbow. Like here, I find that those are fine. I need some moisturizer. So actual half sleeves that end at your elbow, I find those are fine, but I usually don't come across them that much when I'm shopping. This is kind of a unique shirt for a couple different factors. One is just the material of it. It has a nice weight to it that allows it to be flowy. And then the cut of the sleeve, it's almost at that half arm length that I said that I was fine with. Now, if we make it a little bit shorter and have it cut off at that spot that I said that I really don't like, you can see how much larger this arm looks compared to this one. This type of sleeve is kind of acting like an A-line dress, but for my arm. We don't really know what's going on underneath it. Like, my arm could be much smaller than this, it could be much bigger than this. We don't know, because of the style of this sleeve. Hopefully this helps you guys see the difference. And if you're confused about why I called this an A-line dress for your arm, we will get to that. Also, I probably wouldn't wear this like this. I would probably tuck it in, accentuate the waist. So I tend to stick to full length or no sleeve, so like a tank top or whatever. But Sahar, you hate your arms. Well, I don't hate my arms, but you don't like showing them off. Why would you opt for no sleeves? Because same way a full length sleeve creates this long continuous silhouette, so does just having no sleeves at all. The eyes are not going to be drawn to them. Everything just blends together as one, which is what I want. Let's move on to bottoms. If I had to put myself into one of those 4 body types, like apple, pear, rectangle, or hourglass, I would say I'm more of a pear. The only thing keeping me from being an hourglass is I'm not that full on top. I'm definitely more full on the bottom around the hips. An hourglass is more equally full on top and the bottom. So I have very wide hips. I think we've gotten that down. They're the widest part of me. And honestly, I don't have any problem with looking like that. The problem is when it comes to finding jeans or pants that will fit both my waist and my hips. There's over a 10-inch difference between my hips and my waist circumference. I think it's like 12 inches to be honest. And when you have that big of a difference between your waist and your hip circumference, that's when you should be shopping in the curve section. Curve. Now, many stores don't have curve lines. However, I do love Abercrombie's Curve Love line. They have actually completely changed the game for me when it comes to shopping for jeans. I'm gonna link Abercrombie's Curve line down below so you guys can check it out. They're pretty popular. A lot of people really love them. A lot of people actually get curve and plus size mixed up, or they think they're the same thing. That's also because brands tend to swap them around whenever they want. So let me quickly explain that plus sizes are basically just the standard size scaled up. Say you had a pair of size 8 jeans. To make them a size 18, you would just add the same amount of inches required on every side to make it an 18, and the proportions are completely the same. Especially if you're buying plus size from the stores that aren't specifically designed for plus sizes. I'm sure there's stores like Torrid and stuff who have like combinations of plus size and curve, and like they've really done the research. Now curve, the size is just the size. The only difference is that there's going to be about 2 inches more around the hip area, which makes all the difference to curvy people's lives. If you find that your pants are always gaping around the waist, that's because you are buying a size too big. And you are probably having to buy that size that's too big because the smaller size that's actually going to fit your waist does not get to your waist because you can't fit it up over your hips. I would say these are even tight around my hips, but then look at the waist in the back. No. When I started shopping Abercrombie's curve line, I actually found myself sizing down because all of a sudden the hip would fit. So I hope you guys can understand that curve is not the same as plus size. You can buy a size 0 in a curve size. Everything will be a 0 at the waist, in the leg area. The only difference is there's going to be a couple of inches more around the hip area. A lot of info, I know. I swear by A-line. A-line everything for every single body type. This is the best silhouette for making your waist look smaller, and then nobody knows what's going on after that. They don't know if you have curves, you don't have curves. A-line just kind of engulfs everything underneath it. This is great for people who are curvy because they can comfortably show off their curves, move around, but it's also great for people who aren't curvy because it can make you look curvy. Something like a bodycon dress, I always thought that it was meant for my body type. I was like, okay, people like wearing bodycon dresses because they want to show off their curves. As I dug a little bit more into it, I realized that pear shapes are not necessarily the best for bodycon dresses. Hourglass shapes are. They're very symmetrical. They have the same amount of volume on top as they do on the bottom. Something like a bodycon dress is going to show off that symmetry, which is very appealing to the eye. The eye loves seeing symmetrical things. Obviously, wear what you want. Now, the other like physics issue, physics? That we have with the form-fitting bodycon type of dresses on me personally, or anybody that has a larger bum hip area, it will be riding up in the back and it is so annoying, and all day you are just pulling that thing down. Okay, this is a more fitted dress. You can see like it just isn't sitting right. You can tell that it wants to ride up a bit, and then when I pull it down, like the front part goes up. Although I do like how it looks from the front, I just think I'm a lot more comfortable not pulling things up and down all the time. That's another reason why I avoid anything that's super fitted around there and instead go for something that's gonna flow nicely over the curves like an A-line dress. Another thing you could try is actually shopping from the tall section when you're buying shorts or shorter skirts, because that extra 1 or 2 inches that you're gonna get will probably end up looking like a regular length on you by the time it's done draping over your entire booty. Wide leg pants are basically like A-line dresses, but for your legs. If you have wide hips, like me, these are gonna be your best friend. 1, because you're gonna have a lot of room around the hips, but 2 is that you're going to be able to shop from regular non-curved lines and the pants will fit, because wide leg pants are already cut in a way that curved pants are cut. Let's take H&M for example. I'm sure we've all shopped at H&M before. I absolutely despise their pants and their bottoms. I hate them. I actually hate them, except my most favorite pair of trousers, and they fit like a dream. You know why? Because they are wide leg. Such a comfortable waistband and so much room in the hips. Okay, speaking of H&M pants, if you're a rectangular apple body, then H&M pants are probably going to be great for you because the hip circumference and the waist circumference is pretty similar. So you're probably going to have a great time fitting into those pants. Unlike me. I love knee-high boots so much. Some are super flattering on me while others are not. I don't know if you remember a few years back, there was a trend of really chunky boots that were like a glove going up your leg. So I bought some because all the girlies were rocking them and they looked so good. And I feel like it makes me look like I am balancing on stilts. On top of having really wide hips, my ankles are like toothpicks compared to my hips. The proportions were so bad. It just made me look so bottom heavy, like way more bottom heavier than I actually am. Now, if you have the opposite body shape to me, I think that they would look so good. Okay, looking at the difference between these two boots, this one has just like a tiny bit more space that sticks out a little bit. This one My leg feels like a sausage. The colors may also have a little bit to do with how good the boots look, because the black one obviously makes my leg look a lot more elongated right now, whereas the beige one is really in your face. But regardless, this little bit sticks out on the side, kind of like those structured shoulders I was talking about. This is like a structured shoulder, but for your boots. This is another type of boot that I really want to point out. It's pretty much the same width all the way down. If you look at these two boots, they're a lot wider and help create a more even length all the way from the top to the bottom of my leg, and actually make your leg appear slimmer. This is the difference that boot creates compared to this one. Notice how my leg looks pretty much the same width all the way down, especially paired with something A-line like this that completely just engulfs any of my curves. You don't really know if I start here, do I start here? Thought a good starting point would be for me to talk about my own body type and the things that I've learned along the way and what people with the opposite body type of me can do. Nothing is better than the other, okay? I've heard quite a few times people tell me like, oh, you've got curves, you're so lucky, like I wish I had wider hips, but nobody knows about the pain that my joints go through because my weak little legs are carrying this massive load on a weird angle. Yeah, everything is not as it seems. Honestly, just take what you have, accept it. You're gonna be so much more happier. You're gonna learn what works for you. You're gonna end up being more confident. You're gonna have like a secret style weapon and no one's gonna know exactly why you look so good, but you just look so good. Understanding your own body type is just like a tool, okay? It's a tool to help express yourself, feel more empowered. And no way does this mean that, oh, I can't do this trend because I don't have the body type for it. Actually, this is a really good example. I just thought of this. We've been seeing a lot of drop waists in dresses and skirts. It's inspired from like the 2000s. So I've just been recreating the same type of looks, but with my A-line skirts. This preppy look is really in right now, but I'm seeing it with the drop waist skirts. If you just have your A-line skirt that fits comfortably and pull down the shirt that you're wearing on top, it gives the same effect. I'm just gonna keep all of my A-line skirts, do this for whenever I want that dropped waist effect, and then whenever I want to revert back to my classic A-line silhouette, I just have to tuck my shirt in. So don't be discouraged if there's a trend that you really want to try but you think it's not going to fit with your body type, because there's always a way to get the best of both worlds. At the end of the day, trends come and go so fast. It's nice to know you can just opt for dressing for your body type that you already have. That's never going to go out of style. Along the way, as you get better at knowing your own body and you come across times where you do want to try out the new trendy stuff, you're going to be such a pro at easily adapting to them, making them work for you. So let me know if you guys like these type of videos. It's a little bit different than my usual haul videos. All of your questions or video ideas, please leave them below because I would love to make content that you guys want, and I'll see you in the next one.